Hello, we are Sornia. Thank you for your wonderful attention to our messages. Thank you for the efforts and the work that you are doing for yourselves, for humanity, for Mother Earth, for Gaia, and for the assistance that you are all giving to this great awakening that is occurring on your planet, occurring in increments, but it is occurring and occurring quite beautifully. We want to talk to you today a little bit about ways that you might be manipulated. The reason why we want to talk about this is because, again, we've spoken about this, from your other sources that there is a spiritual war going on for, you might call it between light and dark, or however you see it. But there is. You're here for this great awakening because you are here in Earth for the fact that you are helping assist Gaia. You're helping to assist the rest of humanity in cleansing and raising the vibration of all that are willing and wanting to. So the forces that have been, let's say, feeding off of the negativity that is inherent in their system of operating, but not inherent in humanity's system of operating, that force has a great amount of tools, let's say, that it can use at its disposal. It understands humanity better than humanity itself understands themselves. So this is all not through any fault of humanity, but through eons of control and manipulation. It comes on slowly, it comes on gradually, so that the human being with each incarnation, with the cellular memory, becomes obituated, and the soul that takes on that human form automatically slips into what the cellular memory is that comes down through your ancestral line. That is why you have been in the situations, or the world is in the state that it is, because it's been going on for a very, very long time, thousands of years. And this control and manipulation started off gradually, a little bit here with a small group, a little bit over there with another group, just continuing on, so that eventually it encompassed all of humanity, basically. So it is almost impossible, not forever, this is what's changing, and this is what we want to talk about, but it's almost impossible for a soul to take on a human form without having been conditioned, that human form already being conditioned by the environment of that cellular memory that has been handed down through the many generations that has built up. So you have free will, but your free will has also been in many ways shrouded or altered how strong it is, or your understanding, let's say, of really what it means to have free will and to be free. You really don't know what that means. And we're not saying this to you in a form of judgment. We're saying this to you because this is what all of you who are hearing this message are here to transmute through that density, and which is what you are doing, to understand, like out on the leading edge. So you are doing this and transmuting those denser energies that we have talked about, of the limitations that are learned by the human form, but the soul knows differently. This building up over time really was the form of manipulation that we want to talk about. So at this point that you are at, and we're calling this the Great Awakening, that you have all who are hearing this messages in particular, but there are many more, are all aware of the changes that you are going through in your own way, in your own self, how you are growing, how you are seeing things in your world in a different light. We have spoken to you about the nature of your reality in terms of time and space, and how you will have the opportunity to observe that changing your perceptions of it and changing. It's not just your perceptions of it, but it will be changing outside of you. So you will see that, you will start to experience it. What's important for you and what we wanted to share with you in this process, again, is the mind manipulation, if you will. It's the best way to describe it. There are many ways in which you are being still, even for as free as you may think that you are as a thinker, you are also still being manipulated by outside forces in your thinking, which also leads to us saying you can be manipulated by outside forces in the way that you feel. And you're probably thinking to yourself at this moment, so how do we see ourselves through this? How do we master something like this? How do we know who we really are? If this is true, Sornia, how do we understand truth? Well, that's what you are doing. Because this might be new information for you, does not mean that you are not transcending the limitations of that and the mind control and the emotional control that has been in place for a very long time. It is having less of an effect on you, those of you that have followed your innate wisdom to know thyself, that we have spoken about for most of the time that we have been sharing with you. The more you know yourself and you set that intention, your intentions are so incredible. They manifest very quickly, so you want to pay attention to that. But as you set your intention to know yourself and to know truth, and to know truth from that place from within you, not externally, you will get that information and you will be less influenced by these forces that are present in your reality, okay, in that third dimensional earth reality. It's just the nature of that reality. Do not judge it. Do not fear it. Do not try to go up against it. Know that it is there. Know that you are also affected by it, both in mind and in your emotional body. Just know that, and that you are freeing yourself from that. And you are freeing yourself from that by knowing yourself, by going within, by taking that time to go within and know yourself. So that when you see something that's out of place, and you see that you think something and it doesn't quite fit really with what you know as your truth, you know that you are being influenced by an outside force. You feel something. You feel something and you say, well, that's too strong of a feeling. What's going on here? Well, that feeling is probably within you in a minor way, but the force outside of you that is in your environment, it's like a magnetic force. That force will then find its path, find the meeting point, find the resonance, we should say, with the emotional energy or the thought, and increase and amplify it. So the more that you are able to take the time to go within, the more that you are able to see your sense, we should say, your world in the ways in which we have described to you in the past, the more you will be able to not overcome, but to transcend these limitations. You will be able to know when you are being affected by this outside force. The emotions are being affected by an outside force. It's not always the case, but it is the case oftentimes that it is amplified. or intensified. Now you might be thinking, but we were told that we were supposed to feel and we were supposed to go into those feelings. Yes, you must go into the feelings, and that's how you will be able to identify if these feelings are truly for you or are they coming through being increased and maybe twisted and perverted in a way that really does not fit with what you understand. So what we are trying to share here with you is that you keep advancing, all of you keep advancing so beautifully and so aligned with this higher vibration that you are becoming, that this is this next step of your understanding. If you did not know how much you were being manipulated, or let's put it this way, because it's not necessarily that. If you did not know that there were forces out there that can manipulate your mind and your emotions, then you might really be at a loss for transmuting them. But if you know that there's manipulation through forces outside of you that are coming through to amplify it, or at times instill something that isn't even yours, that's up to you to figure out what that is. Well, if you didn't know that, you may find yourselves feeling at a loss and feeling all sorts of negativity. Knowing that you have control over this and that it just takes your ability to know yourself, speak truth, ask to know truth, talk to all of us here, that will be enough for you to transcend these limitations and find your place in all of this. And as you're doing this, again, we have said this and we'll continue to repeat this. This is such a valuable effort on all of your parts to continue to be as pure of a conduit for the divine energies that are of the Christ consciousness that are coming through, that you are holding. So the more that you are able to know that and be that pure conduit, the more that that energy of the Christ consciousness is able to permeate through all of everything that encompasses the planet, all of humanity, all of the creatures on the planet, all of that, which is what you're doing. You're already doing this. This is just another layer, if you will, of understanding, another layer of your, let's say you move to the next chapter in your textbook of learning. We kind of laugh because it's a school that you're in a lot of ways, and you're learning things that are very difficult. And it's not always easy to know what's the truth of any situation, because you can be misled, but don't feel that being misled that somehow you've made a mistake or somehow you are a failure. You want to just say to yourself, okay, maybe in this situation I did not understand. Show me the way. Continue to do this. Faith and trust and a loving, compassionate nature are what you need in order to be that truth, to be that sovereign being that you are. You're there. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen just because you say you want it. Going through the entire process is so valuable because of the energetic shifts that you are creating. You're doing this. Each one of you that takes these messages and applies them to your life, you are the ones that are doing it. And yes, it's not easy. And there are times that you doubt your own ability to do this. But the outcome we see, it's headed in the direction of bringing that harmony and that beauty to the planet and freeing many. But you are the pioneers. You're out in the forefront, and you are the ones that are doing it, are paving the way for the others that are coming right behind you, your support. You'll see so many are so ready. They're right on the verge of opening up. And those of you out there who are active as healers and teachers and leaders in your community will see you will have more and more who have questions. So we really want to thank you all, because it's not always clear cut. It's not always certain what you're doing. You're not always feeling strong. You're not always feeling a loving, compassionate feel. The tug of war between these two energies that are present on your planet, that of the Christ consciousness, which can permeate through anything, that is going through and melting and dissolving away this lower, negative, controlling energy that has been held in place for so many thousands and thousands of years. It can feel exhausting. It can feel futile. We understand that. But that's why we come and we say, yes, you are doing what you need to do. You are making progress, because you can't see it all. You do when you are in a sleep state. You come and you are able to know this, but you have to jump right back into the human suit when your consciousness goes back into your body. And many of you have no memory of where you've been and what you have done. And we're here to encourage you and to tell you and to give you updates. You're not by any means falling behind, and there are many that will be following all of you. So we want to thank you, as always, seriously and sincerely thank all of you. And we know that every day is not easy, but we're there backing you and wanting that you reach out to us, and that things in your world are changing. And most of you have seen it. You've been able to apply these messages, the tools we have given you, and you've been able to apply it and ultimately bring about these increments of lightening and awakening on your planet. So we are very grateful to all of you. We appreciate the fact that you've had the courage to go into human form continually for the sake of all. And yes, I guess that's our message for you today. We're here for you. We know that you can't always know the things that we know. We don't know everything either. We share with you what we can know. But we have such a deep appreciation for the courage that it takes to be in human form at the time that you're there. Yes, it's exciting. It's very exciting, and you will be able to experience it from that place of being in the human form as this transition, this awakening, this ascension is occurring. So you're in the middle of it, and you can really rely on that and know that because you are in the middle of this transition. You have a ways to go, but we don't know how long again. And without you, this could not be happening. And it's wonderful. And it's happening on many planes of existence outside of the earth plane. Just so you know, there's quite the unified force. And we're hoping soon rather than later that we can all unite in a way that you can see us, not just sense us, but that you can see us with your physical eyes. It would be so joyous to be everyone together again. We are looking forward to that day, as I believe all of you are. That's really all we have for you today. We just wanted to give you a little bit of a pep talk and a little bit of information that might help you if you're struggling a little bit, because this force that would like to keep you entrapped really dug its heels in. We're winning, if you will. We're winning. You don't always know and you can't always feel it. So thank you. Thank you very much. We love you very much. We are Sornia. Goodbye.